We are going to meet, hopefully, some living thought. I decided we're not going for the Dreamer's Halberd. I think we've met our last friendly immaculate, as it were. So let's commit to the path here. We're jumping right into it. It's been a couple of sessions since we've done the main story, but we're real strong. Look how intimidating we are. So I think we're more than ready for some main plot here. So let's talk to the Cardinal. Let's join it.
The mission of Elat is not a decision to be taken lightly, Pilgrim. To serve Elat's cause is to accept the 3 tenets of the Endless Path. And never forget, the Scourge knows us.
Yeah, if you, we may try to catch up a little bit more on those VODs. I know that there's probably 2 in between where we are now and the one that went up this morning. So I might I want to give myself a little bit of lead time on editing those, but I might try to catch up a little bit. But if you end up watching this on the VOD, thanks for watching. The friendly immaculate will still appear, but will be hostile. I'm not sure if you can still have the friendly immaculate as a defeat scenario, however. I don't think so. I don't think that that would be a little odd, the implication being the friendly immaculate rescues you while you're unconscious. But once you're conscious, the friendly immaculate will now recognize, oh man, you're a member of the Holy Mission. Well, I am taking a oath to be an enemy of the Scourge forever, and I don't think a lot makes any distinctions. So I'm not afraid of any of that.
Your task.
There are 3 people that need help.
Listen well.
Mofat. Need an ingredient, okay. Zephyrian, one of the champions, needs somebody to brew a potion. And Damien Lockwell, whose paranoia could use calming down. I think the last time, I haven't completed this quest line, but I have done a little bit of it. There's a wild amount of particle effects in this area. Also a little bit of a glitch here. That's interesting. It's really just one tiny angle. This person.
What do you need?
Hi, everyone in the chat. I see BM Moose. How's it going? Great to see you. Okay, how can I help? Just brew. I think so. Yeah, the first time I did this first quest, I just had the potion in my inventory randomly.
Let me take a look at you.
So that was great. It might be a lot harder if you just don't have it. Let's see.
I can definitely tell you've got the spirit for it, but you need discipline.
You definitely have to keep your hair in check if you are a member of the Holy Mission and you're wearing the candle armor. Not all hairstyles are compatible with the candle armor and the candle pauldrons here.
Discipline. Right.
Yeah, discipline potion. Things are going well. It was just a fine Thursday. I can't complain.
If you can't find one for me, it's pretty easy to brew.
Oh, he'll give me the recipe.
Take care, eh?
All right. How difficult is this going to be? Ocker Spice Beetle. Okay, so let's just see if we can't just buy a discipline potion. I have more than enough funds to manage this. Oh, one of the people in the quest just wants me to know magic. I should do that because I already know a little magic. That might be It can't be the paranoid town administrator, so it must be Mofat. So I'm gonna run past the alchemy person. What you got here? That's a discipline potion for 15 silver. More than happy. More than happy to spend 15 silver. 15 silver is worth it not to walk over to Mofat, actually. These fellas have a perpetual lightning enchantment on their halberds. Those are some cool looking halberds. There's great looking pole arms. I think we should all be able to admire and appreciate pole arm design.
What you need?
Let me take a look at you.
I can definitely discipline. If you can't find one for me, it's pretty easy to brew.
There's
Thanks so
the
much.
discipline potion for you. It's true counter turns. It's half the city's budget. Once again. Once again. Defund the police. Please. We're starving. Monsoon cannot even keep up kind of the kind of drainage they need. We need an infrastructure week here at Monsoon.
Hey, by way of thanks, do you want to know
Ah.
how to make a warrior's elixir?
Sure. Nice meeting you both.
Take care, eh?
I've helped you now. I'm owed an audience with Living Thought.
I have called on Elat.
Hmm.
He has been watching you.
He's been watching me. Okay. I think I gotta go to the altar over here. This is a bright. I don't know like how if it's like coming through on the stream, but on my monitor, this light is really bright. A lot. I want to join the holy mission. Oh, a gruff but kind voice.
Welcome. I am Alat, God of Discipline.
That's interesting that I don't know if y'all heard the voice acting come through very clear, but I wouldn't necessarily call that voice gruff. Yeah, I don't think they're selling me on gruff. This is interesting. I'm hearing voices in my head. Well, Living Thought. I guess that is how a Living Thought would speak. I think Living Thought could speak any number of ways. Not necessarily in my head. But who knows?
I sense a certain potential in you, waiting to be forged into something stronger.
Medium Dragon, we will not be seeing the last Tree Man, mostly because I kind of wanted to get to the plot in this game. It is unfortunately we won't get the Dreamer Halberd, but unfortunately I think that the Horror Halberd's probably just a little bit better for our build. I'll accept you, but be warned to accept my blessings to become the mortal enemy of all Scourge kind. They will seek your destruction everywhere.
Always remember the three pillars of our cause.
That third pillar is so menacing. Like, I feel like they're, they aren't soliciting a consultation on this. But you really don't want your the third pillar of your religion to sound like a little blurb on a horror movie poster. No one is safe. If you want to emphasize the discipline necessary to keep people safe, put discipline up front. But no one is safe. Ah, well, we're locked in though. Never do something you do not understand. That's a good one. But the world's a complicated place. What level of understanding are we asking? This is a skeptic talking. My character in game doesn't have these thoughts.
Will you cast aside all the ties that bind you and live your life for the good of all Arise people?
Sure. I think that the ties that bind me are debt I'll never pay in a lifetime. This is a major turning point. Will you dedicate yourself to the holy mission? Oh, so you can back out even at this point. Oh, you feel your spirit grow in strength. It's warm, like being close to a campfire.
Then it is done. I welcome you into my heart. Grant you the title of missionary.
Missionary. See, this phrase, loves self-improvement and discipline, I can get behind that a little bit more. That sounds a little bit nicer than, no one is safe.
Eleonora will give you tasks on my back.
Okay. So we're not going to speak like this again?
To narrow my focus to any precise place or person binds me to events going on everywhere else.
So yeah, a lot not omnipotent, not omnipresent. So interesting. And there we go. I just learned a new thing. I learned infused light, which requires being blessed, which is interesting. Okay, so we can now start going on some missions, talking to Eleonora, I believe. So let's do that. Hope everybody had a nice week so far. I'm definitely looking forward to Friday. The stream is nice because it's like a little reminder that the weekend's around the corner. I think this is Eleonora,
Take
yeah.
your time getting familiar with the marsh.
Ah, in a few days, she will have something for me. Okay, so I think this does happen for most of these quests, is that you don't immediately unlock the first quest line. You do need, like, they basically are like, hey, feel free to explore around, get familiar with the area. We'll call you later. I believe that, yeah. Let's check in with Oliel now that we have committed ourselves.
Oh, I can't really talk now.
Oh, she's preparing for a mission.
I wonder.
A little cagey here. This is Bearded Danny. It's complicated because I did not intentionally grow a beard. It just happened. But there comes a point where I can't deny being complicit in being Bearded Danny. I am, because I had to go to work, and I had a limited amount of time that morning, and I was having to decide, okay, is it going to be coffee or is it going to be, fully shaving my face? And I said, you know what? I could have coffee if I just like cleaned up the beard a little bit. And now it is a beard. It's not just complete neglect. So I don't know what to tell you. It's not with my complete consent, but
Take your time getting familiar with the marsh.
is what it is. Okay, so I'll probably get an update on Uliel in a little bit. But what's my budget here? What have I got? 433. One power coil. Let's do some exploring out in the wilderness. We'll come back after we find our next power coil. I'll kind of pitch a tent. Ooh, you know, speaking of tents, let's go up to the general store and buy like a nice tent. Oh, I appreciate that compliment. Yeah, lots of ring lights. They've got a lot of technology or magic to their disposal. But yeah, they really sell, like, I feel like I'm on the highway with my astigmatism, like at nighttime. These lights are very bright. But yeah, let's get a new tent if we can.
Can I help you?
This is just the chef. This is definitely, if you wanted to take photographs of like cool areas and outward, this would be up towards the top of my list. Although apparently some of the DLC areas also look visually striking. So I'm interested in maybe delving into that a little bit. They don't sell like 10 upgrades here. That's wild. I can buy a better backpack, but I don't want to. That backpack also makes you slow. No, that's wild. Yeah, simple tent. What do I have right now? Do I just have a bedroll? I guess a simple tent is quite an upgrade comparatively, so let's do that.
How can I help you?
And let's get rid of some extra weight that's just hanging around here. We were saving some of this for later, but I just don't think it's too necessary. Neon light, like they came up with neon light technology in practice, or was it more of a theoretical level of came up with? Oh, you're talking about this city here. Was there a medieval period in Arai? Because that's interesting. A lot of neon lights were invented in medieval times. Gotcha, gotcha. Now we're tinted. Making pretty lights is kind of, it does seem to be like the big consensus on what people do with their time. %, never gonna happen. That's a 96% chance to not have people interrupt my sleep. Yeah, guaranteed. I'm going in here with a lot more confidence. Just generally. And I think that this is going to bode well for the for finding that second power coil. Because once we have that second power coil, we are really in business vis-a-vis storage. So 15 hours of sleep divided into actually sleeping, keeping watch, and repairing. I do need to like be mindful of repairing. The one drawback of the horror halberd is a slightly lower durability overall. Okay, what do we got here as far as stuff on our hotbar? Let's replace this. We have focus now. Let's try this out. So. So I can cast... Yeah. Oh yeah, get wrecked. That's real. I think it's a very disturbing thought to think about what repairing the horror halberd looks like. Like as you're tempering it, or if you have like a whetstone or something, how does it react? Does it enjoy that, or is that painful? Ugh. Best not to think about it. TBH. Marshmallow. Chomp. I love that they render the marshmallow in your hand. That's good. Wow. It's strong. You know, it's all come together with the build, I think. No question about it. Still thinking just on the edges here of optimization. I think I might need to switch out my hat because heavy armor hats reduce your, like, it basically makes your spells cost more mana. There's basically a mana penalty. So I was thinking maybe wearing like a more magic-y hat so that I can at least cast 2 casts of the armor spell. Yeah, pole arms are no joke. They are less damaging in a lot of ways than some of the other items, but the range is big, and you really feel the benefit. Yes, I would say that the hat I'm wearing right now would probably give like a substantial bonus to magic. I would hope, actually, that it would give a substantial bonus. Oh, see, look at this hat. Oh my gosh. Mana cost negative 5%. This isn't the best thing, but I was just talking about it. This is really working out. How bad does this hurt my, what does that look like? Oh, wow, you can see my lovingly crafted face from the character builder. It was just a pre-made. So the delta here should be pretty significant because this had a 10% penalty to mana cost, and this has a 5% bonus. You can get a lot better. You can get like I think we should be able to find a hat that does better, but yeah. Still on the lookout for our second power coil as we kind of gallivant around. I think we did check this. But yeah, I was actually saying for this specific bucket hat, I think it would be most appropriate for you to get a bonus in speed because it's Valtteri Bottas's hat. And even though he hasn't scored any points since Grand Prix Canada, he's still fast. Bang. Unova, I actually haven't kept up with the unset with Magic the Gathering. I'm really out of the loop. Mohawk Soul, I think that's exactly accurate. Relative to me and the speeds that I drive at, which I'm a slow driver. I'm one of those people. Valtteri Bottas is very fast. Hats matter. Now that's something I didn't expect. Really feeling that early kind of awkward backpack right now with respect to weight. Let's see, there were two ways. I could kind of, let's go back and then go, I think this is the way we approached the City of Monsoon. So let's do a little bit of backtracking. And then we'll kind of, after we explore a bit down there, kill a few more things, we might just, or you know, I think we might be heading that way anyway due to the quest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk back to the docks of Monsoon. I'm going to rest outside for free until we get an indicator to say that the main quest is ready, and then we'll do a quest. A lot of the stuff I'm doing right now can like be done on the way to a lot of quests. Is there anything interesting here? Not really. Ooh, actually, Krimpna. My bag is overweight. The ragdoll is great. I know someone commented about that, but I don't think every game. Some games is a little distracting. This game fits just perfect to my eyes. Oh no, infection. How do you feel about crucial quests having a time limit? I think I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because the fail state of this game still progresses the plot. And I think ultimately that's the big litmus test for me. It's like, is the outcome more than just you failed, start over? I know it can be a little frustrating because a lot of things can happen to you in Outward that you don't necessarily anticipate, but I think I'm okay for that. Do I have anything that works on infections here? Might not. Might have to start a fire. See if I can make some tea. I've played through this game several times, but I've forgotten what all the teas do. I feel like playing this game at the level of proficiency I'm in. Playing this game once per week gives me just enough time to not be super tight on the menuing, but it's fine. Okay, and deployable. There we go. Oh, wow, big fight between a raptor and the two other guys over there. Oh, yeah, I got to do a manual recipe for this. I didn't learn the T's necessarily. Okay, so we've got that and that. Will you cure an infection, or is this impact resistance? Cures indigestion. This cures the common cold. Oh, interesting. So it must be the ochre beetle. Oh, and that raptor is still out and about. Just barely not enough to cast the final rune, but that's okay. They barely did anything to this guy. 2. Oh, wow. Completely faked me out on the moon swipe. Gotta be judicious with my stamina here. Oh, he got me! I thought I was blocking there, but insufficient. Never bothered since the fun and focus of Outward, like Dragon's Dogma is the journeys and in-betweens. I agree with that. Someone in gleaming white armor vanish into the crowd. I think the implication here is Uliel saved me. Could have been another person, though. I did get rid of the infection, so that's a nice little byproduct. Some missionaries are late. This is another timed. This is another timed mission here. So it's actually kind of nice that we have this before our next mission is available. We can kind of knock this out. It is. I am 3D Homer. It is kind of ironic that oftentimes the easiest way to overcome a condition is just dying. But yeah, let's... what are we doing here? I need to sell a couple of things, and then we know that there was like an attack here in Monsoon on the way to Berg. So we can... I'm pretty sure I know where this is. So every main quest line has a corresponding side quest that's open to everyone, and I believe this is one of those. Even if I weren't in the Holy Mission, I would have access to this quest.
Greetings, friend.
Ooh, wide black hat. 200 silver? It's a lot, but I do want that wide black hat for purposes. Yeah.
Greetings, friend.
Okay, we should have... There we go. There's our well. Let's get very well hydrated before our long rest. Pain and confusion, I believe, are the status. Yeah. Very well hydrated. We are a real wizard. Big Hack Logan hours here. Uh-oh. Unfortunate. This is truly awful. I kind of had no health or mana. Well, this will be interesting. I also don't have my tent anymore because I deployed it before dying. So it's going to stay deployed until this zone resets. And where will I be? I don't think I'm too terribly far away. No, I'm just at the top of this mountain here. Well, bullet dodged on that one. That's our friend Gep. So now we're on a recovery mission for the backpack, and hopefully we will try to avoid... I'll kind of approach the dock from an angle here. I think I can get up there from here, maybe. Well, counter turns, I'm glad we were able to capture your truth in the playthrough. Very important. I think this enemy is super tough. %, never. 91% chance to be fine. The odds are on our side today, certainly. Okay, well, hopefully we haven't killed too terribly much time. Let me see, where did this raptor go? I do need to drink water, though. Our jerky's almost going bad. We gotta eat it. A lot of like dynamic patrolling, enemies moving around over time. I don't have a full handle on how everything works, but it's pretty cool. It shakes things up. I've seen some weird enemies and kind of weird places throughout my playthroughs. This might be the raptor. And running in this armor is not really an option. Like, I will not be able to outrun the raptors especially. They're quite fast. There's a lot of fast enemies. No power coil, but I didn't say that this one was guaranteed. This one kind of jumped up on me. Maybe we did go this way. My memory's playing tricks on me. Yeah, we went this way. That's fine. Really enjoying the light in this stage as we're kind of heading into the sun. Got that big old tree up there. Yeah, the soundtrack's good. I will say, you play this 10 hours, you're gonna hear, you're not gonna hear like unique soundtrack options throughout that course. I think that there are definitely tracks that stand out, though. Overall, I've enjoyed it. Kind of survival for the fittest here. As the corpses pile up, the strong enemies are the ones left hanging around here. Pilgrim Corpse, yep. This is the dead missionary from the Holy Mission. Fatally struck by a bullet from a Levantine firearm. I'm quite the CSI person here. Oh, I can tell from the rifling. You should probably let someone in Monsoon know about it. Sure. I'll go back and let him know. I think I tolerate this game in the fact that there's not... I mean, there are ways to speed up during travel. Way number one, don't wear the heaviest armor in the game, like I'm doing generally. So, this is a player choice. Way number two, you can wear armor that actually increases your running speed. I think that there's some trader, Trader, armors, kind of outfits that make you go faster. And there are various consumables that make you go faster. But I'm okay with the walking around bits. The environments are nice. And as someone was mentioning in the chat earlier, it's kind of a game about what's happening on the in-betweens. But it does make me wonder if there was an option for, I don't know, like a mount. How would it, if I were responsible for implementing that and I wanted to kind of maintain the general vibe of the game, I'm not sure how to do it best. I'm sure a lot of people would be just appreciative of a Elden Ring-esque mount, but I don't know if that particular mechanic would work thematically, given the way Outward works. The game does have chocobos, like an elaborate process for training a chocobo, like in the wild. That might be interesting, I guess. Glad I went this way. I realized I didn't pack up my cooking pot. That's probably happened to somebody in real life. Accidentally leaving their cooking pot. Oh, I missed this question. Deus Ex Brocken asking, are they just the only people who have guns? Guns are around because the Sorobian caravanners will sell them occasionally, but it is kind of implied in the lore that the Levantine, the heroic kingdom of the Levant, is much more technologically advanced. And perhaps there's something about the process of manufacturing firearms or trade secrets, whatever. The Levantines' access to firearms will become a bit of a plot point in the larger plot as we kind of move forward. Cooking pots are great. They're a great tool in real life, too. In non-fantasy worlds. Look at Mofat. I'm pretty sure this guy's outfit looks like big old raptor scales to me.
Watch yourself out in the marsh. It's never safe out there.
We need to talk about the trouble in the
You've
swamp.
been out into the swamp recently, haven't you? I've been waiting on a friend of mine.
Oh, but I found a dead missionary along the road.
I hope. Is there anything else you can tell me?
Campsite,
Listen to
bedrolls.
me. Could you help out? I hope.
Is there a conspiracy against the Holy Mission? Bandit attacks, but growing ever more frequent? Let's go talk to some folks that might have been there. I'm getting a new graphics card. I was actually expecting it before the stream, but it's yet to be delivered. But I think things get delivered too fast now. I had a window of delivery, and they're delivering it early. Like, it's nice to get stuff shipped fast, but whenever I get stuff really fast, I just think about the sheer enormity of the human labor involved to, like, send the package. And I wish that all the people who were a part of that could just work a fraction of how hard they're working. I would be more than happy for whatever thing I'm getting in the mail. Oh yeah, so is it Prime Day? I thought we already had a Prime Day. Is there a new Prime Day? I got this thing on Newegg. Let's see. Yeah, I said to go to the training district. It's not labeled, but the 2 trainers are here.
Greetings, friend.
I'd like to talk.
Curious.
What's it about? A group of people was attacked.
This worries me.
Yeah, talk to me about it. I know you've reported it. Yeah, so this person is like explicitly calling these Levantine firearms. So yeah, I think that the answer is A, Levant basically does have a monopoly on like the production of these firearms, or they're the only people producing firearms like at a level, or there's something about their operation. They're so technologically advanced that it's very easy to tell that it's a Levantine firearm as opposed to like maybe cruder firearms. So, oh wow! So the initial volley caught Jail in the lungs, and they demanded we disarm and come with them. They took us up to a mountain not too far from the campsite. Oh, and somebody tried to disarm one of the captors, and they tumbled into a poisonous swamp.
Damn.
I think I might go investigate myself. Let's go investigate. You gotta love the big hat, but I got a backpack and a halberd clipping through it. It's fine. Everything still functions. Once again, I'm fine with halberds clipping through hats. Think about how much work it would be to, like, make that not happen. Make the brim of the hat, give the brim of the hat physics, so every time you, like, walk into a wall, it, like, crumples up. That's too much work. Although it would be interesting to do that, and then you're running around like this as you're adventuring. You know, that is actually, Michael, that is a option that they also could have pursued. A dynamically shrinking halberd Or, I mean, this halberd's alive. The halberd could just, like, wriggle around. The halberd could cock over to one side, I suppose. Yeah. You know, Deus Ex Machina, I think in some games, the way they handle, like, hairstyles, sometimes it seems like they might just disable the hair when you're wearing a hat, but obviously that doesn't fix the collar issue. There are so many raptors around. This raptor's like going all the... Oh, the raptor's like in the poisonous swamp. And I do think that the raptor will become poisoned due to the raptor's choice. The raptor's made a choice regarding living in the poison swamp. I don't see the little particle effect associated with the poison swamp, though, so maybe they're just immune. That's wild, though. So, if we're looking at the map, we found the pilgrim around here, and they took them to a mountain, and there's basically two possibilities. It's one of these two trees. I happen to know which one it is, so I'm going to go to the correct place instead of the incorrect place. It is this big old mountain. This isn't really a mountain. It's like a more of a cairn of large rocks. It's high up, but I do think that when you see like the mountain they intend you to climb up, you'll be like, yeah, that's where they took them. Once you add wizards into the mix, you can justify anything. Which is a real, like, it's a real problem with the reality that we live in. Is the lack of wizards. There's whole darn academic disciplines that exist, and we have to, like, debate shit all the time because wizards aren't around. You get one wizard, discourse gets a lot simpler. Well, wizard did it. What can you do? One would think, like on first blush, the presence of a wizard would radically complicate our understanding of the world. It would not. It would radically simplify it. There probably would be like a lot of really complicated or like really interesting and relatively common sense understandings we have now that we would just never come to. I think if everybody knew there were just wizards, meteorology would not be a thing. We'd be like, why dedicate all of this time and energy into studying this stuff? It's the wind, it blows around. Wizards do it all the time. Oh, I'm not talking making value judgments on whether I would want to live in Wizard World. Probably not. I am just making some observations about simplicity. Something can be simple, like much simpler and bad. Other things can be really complicated and good. Some video games, they're really complicated and they're good because of that. This is the kind of content you get with Danny slowly walking up the mountain. Kind of got an interesting spiral situation going on. The Enlightenment was based on a world without wizards. TM. Kind of don't want to get into a fight before I get into this dungeon. I'm interested to see how powerful this character is as I navigate this little dungeon. Wizard science is whatever the wizards do. First rule of studying wizard science. The second rule of wizard science is wizard science is whatever wizards do. Same as the first rule. Yeah. Yeah. Well, goodbye, very poisoned man falling into the pit. Let's confirm the kill. Kill confirmed. There's actually, I think, like a kind of a hidden chest in this area that you can only get to with like some strategic drop downs. It might be this root. Huh? Yes. Oh no. Oh no. I can't get to the special chest. I chose the wrong way. Drat. This is really the lack of the jump button is doing something for us here. A wizard's only weakness. A three-pronged root. Even the horror halberd. Helpless in the face of the three-pronged root. Well, they were punishing me for thinking the root is the way. Oh, got some wizard. This person's poisoned. I am slowed because an ice witch froze me. Okay, my stamina is back now. I'm still very slow though. The ragdoll's very good. The ragdoll plus a polearm. I think that the way the physics work, actually, the leverage, kind of the inertia at the tip of the polearm, because it's so long. It's traveling faster than like a shorter weapon. It's great. Here's a little tip. If you don't want to pick up a water skin, just drink it while it's in the dead enemy's pocket. That's a thing everybody does. That's Bear Grylls stuff. What we got here? Salt, sure. Yeah, drink water out of a dead ice witch's pocket. Eat some food out of a junk pile, just straight out. Cut out the middleman. I think that's that dead bandit. The confirmed kill. That's the bow that the bandit dropped, and that's the bandit's corpse that fell down. They really need to think about spreading these candles out. This one corner, very well lit. Down here, not. Oh yeah, I think that there's some like journals here on the way. Instructions from the boss in Berg were clear. Never let those monsters near the prison cells. They will slaughter the prisoners out of sheer instinct. We can't keep kidnapping more of Alat's missionaries without risking serious consequences. Wow. The monsters, huh? Oh no! Oh, the archer got me like real bad. Let's see. Hopefully we get a... So I think we're in a dungeon. We should get a respawn in the dungeon, but it might place us in like a... Uh-oh. Oh no! Bandits pin you down trying to shackle your hands and feet, and it's that unfortunate moment when an immaculate emerges from the shadows. Instantly it charges at you, screeching with hatred for the fragment of Alat's power you hold. So we haven't really figured out why the Scourge hate Alat so much, but we are going to find out. So this is a, I love it that at the beginning of this session we were talking about, hey, there are these consequences for joining the Holy Mission, etc. Immediately bearing, not immediately, but here in the session, we are, it's bearing fruit. As the bandits desperately try to restrain the creature from slaughtering all of you, you realize no one's holding you down anymore, and you flee into the darkness, searching for a safe place to inspect your injuries. Cool. You reach out with your mind, hoping Alat will sense... This is a really long defeat scenario. You reach out with your mind, hoping Alat will sense your distress and aid you. There's no response. Some spell cast on this cavern prevents him from hearing your plea. It feels deeply wrong to suddenly be cut off from him. Wow, it's only been a couple days here. Oh, wow. What is this status on me? I'm really experiencing some new stuff. Dispirited. Increases skill cooldowns by 50%. That's cool. Very interesting. Well, let's see. Maybe we can do a rest on this pile of bones. Or somewhere in here. Oh, wow. I am right next to a... Let's disassemble this. I feel like I'm going to get out of the tent and, like, walk directly on this trap. The status debuff is losing my smile. I'm so sad. Ambush is super high. Can I lower this a bit? Okay. Let's do that. That should get it. Look, sometimes a deity can't, like, I wonder if it's granite, right? Do you reckon it's granite that Alat can't talk through? Or see through? Maybe there's some lead deposits in here. I wonder if Alat has, like, Superman vision. It's 10. Turns out Living Thought has a lot of the same. Oh, wow. It's Cold Stone. I actually think we're closer to the Deadroot's key. Ah. 2, 3, 4. Bang. I love that the polearm got him right on the chin as he was trying to stand back up there. That was great. Ash filter mask. That's actually a pretty cool design for a mask. Just not what I'm looking for right now. The antidote, I'll take that. I think this is the Marsh Bandit. Ah, this is the person that shot me to death. Oh, they're like big time Bill. Oh, they're super strong. Don't let him shoot me. Lord knows. Oh! Got him. Oof. That is, how much health is that? 1. And there is not 1 hit protection. That was just pure luck on that one. Lord. Yeah, recurve bow. This person was pretty stacked. Carrying some petty change. Silver on him, too. But yeah, I would say all skill. Your failure in that recent raid is unacceptable. There can't be witnesses. Do you know what the Sorobor Academy does to loose ends who screw up? We risk being eliminated if our operation is discovered. Is that clear? So Sorobor's behind it. It isn't the heroic kingdom of Levant after all. It is, in fact, the Sorobor Academy. Oh my lord, why are 3 people down here? Excessive. This is, I don't like those odds. Yeah. And that guy? Let's go down. I think we're close to the bottom here. If I get you talking to this test subjects one more time, I'll have your head. If they find out we're trying to learn to manipulate and control them, they will slaughter us all. You've seen what they've done to the prisoners. Oh, so the test subjects and prisoners different? And it seems like these test subjects might be the monsters that were referenced earlier, so they're up to no good. The pieces are coming together. Someone from the Sorobor Academy is arming the bandits. Before what end? You're not quite sure. You should let someone with power in the Blue Chamber Collective know. The Chamber Lord of Monsoon would also probably be very interested in knowing that such a dangerous group has been operating so close to his city. Interesting. So I think for full credit, I need to let someone in the Blue Chamber Collective know about this. Ah, look, and probably the prisoners here. The Blue Chamber Collective is a great prog metal band name. Okay, and I believe that there is a Skyrim / Oblivion-esque exit to this dungeon. What do y'all reckon the first game that had this type of thing? Might have been some of like the... Probably like in concept, maybe there might have been some like Mega Man or Metrovania type stuff. Like a little area that you can go in go in and out one way, but at the end of that area, it spits you out, into an exit only type situation. It's probably been around. I strongly associate it with some of the Master Trader boots. Plus 15% movement. This is something where you're almost thinking, I might just have that, like in my bag. And when I'm traveling around, I can put on my trader boots. You do have to think about inventory management, but the trade-off right now is these boots are so heavy that I'm taking off that it almost becomes a liability, so we'll think about it. Oh, Kingsfield definitely had that. Colossal Cave Adventure. These are good. Good ones here. Okay, so how do I... Okay, so if I get up there, if I Skyrim my way up here... Ugh. Ugh. Let me get my momentum. Ugh. No, I was just up here. Can walk the angle, maybe? There we go. There we are. So if I'm up here... I need to... Yeah. Go around, I suppose. I know that this is like a somewhat quick exit. I mean, it gets you back out into the overworld here, but if I can recall that the way this strange spirally mountain swamp works is a little counterintuitive. I do recall, however, a special steampunk chest that has a guaranteed power coil in it. Guaranteed drop power coil over on this area. So cross this bridge. I do like you can always see where Monsoon is. So we're getting kind of, this path is not necessarily leading us directly to Monsoon. We're going to have to do a little bit of wrangling here. Who's attacking me? What? Get out of here. Okay, so this should be a ziggurat. The Dark Ziggurat. Oh darn, it's not a steampunk chest. Just a regular chest. What kind of build am I running? This is more or less a melee-only build with just a tiny bit of... I can't believe this is another... I can't find 2 power coils, but I find 2 Master Trader boots in a row. I'm telling you, I can't wait to switch to AMD after the stream. I really can't, because it's definitely the NVIDIA card that's doing this. Yeah, what kind of build am I running? I'm running mostly a melee build. It's I have only spent 1 breakthrough point on the Wind Cabal guy, but the other 2 breakthrough points might end up being like the plus 40 health breakthrough point from the Hunter trainer in Berg, and it might be the plus 40 stamina breakthrough point from the kind of monk trainer in Monsoon. I think that might be the 3 breakthrough points. I'm leaving the door open now. I don't necessarily need to spend that money. And actually, I think that last time I was there, I didn't necessarily have the money. So we shall see. But yeah, battle mages are super cool. And I enjoy being able to cast like a few spells. I actually just switched to this hat so that I could have access to just enough mana to cast Rune Armor twice. I will say one of the breakthroughs that is tempting is I think there's one that just gives you like plus 10% run speed. I think that that rogue engineer, and it may be the rogue engineer, might be the other trainer, the mercenary trainer in Heroic Kingdom of Levant. So that's, yeah, Levant. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they love playing the music. Sometimes they're just like, nope, we're gonna you're going to listen to your lantern and your little frying pan rattle as you walk around the world. It gives the game a little contrast. Okay, so we're working our way back to Monsoon. Hopefully the next quest will be available by the time we get there. And if not, we will just rest until it is. Oh, no. Wait, that's right. So we might not be going there. It might be better to go to Imriker Forest, actually. In which case we would go south to the Chersonese and then up and go to Berg to let the person in Berg from the Blue Chamber Collective know. Yeah, I totally agree. Depending on what build you're using in this game, it really does feel like a different game, which I think is nice. It's nice to have the variety. The ignobility of dying from the poison and not the horror halberd eating you. Agreed, Brain Orchestra. Yeah, Berserk is really cool. I think it's interesting that the Berserk ability isn't damage in this game and it's impact. I think it's kind of, that really sells a specific version of what wielding a big weapon is good for, which is, it's not just doing damage, it's like knocking people down. It's really bullying them, right? And focus is, no, I'm going to be very accurate with my weapon strikes and it will actually deal more damage. So I like the distinction going on there. But yeah, I do think that we're committing to go to Imriker, and we can actually cut across. No, I think we go south, because if we were to cut across, there isn't actually a way over here right now. We would have to go into the Ziggurat Passage, and I don't believe we've done that yet. Oh, this weapon, the Horror Halberd, you can craft it. And you can actually learn how to craft horror weapons from the trainer in Berg. Yeah, normally it's quite difficult to craft because it requires a drop from one of the most difficult to kill beings in the game, the little horrors. But there's a dungeon in Imriker Forest that has a lever that causes an explosion, and if you just zone in and like pull that lever, it will kill the horror halberd directly below you, and you have a very good chance. Are you kidding me, game? They're doing this to me. Okay. Cool. Okay, hopefully I don't aggro this raptor. So yeah, I will need to go to the Chersonese. How's my travel ration situation looking? I have 5. Okay. Yeah, raptors are awful. They're really strong, and it's tough to... They're definitely easier right now that I have kind of a little bit more fuller of a kit, but... These guys are fun. They kind of make it very difficult to stealth around, but if you lead them to a flower, the flower will like consume these fireflies and then spit out a specific alchemical ingredient. They're also like if it's dark, they're kind of welcome because it's free light. Let's see if I can demo that. I think I see a flower up here. Oh, but it's next to some dinos I don't want to fight. We'll find some soon. I think that unlike a lot of the side quests, there's a reward for most of these kind of, I think they're called on the wiki parallel quests. But this one has in-game implications. Oh, is this the guaranteed? It is not. I didn't finish the sentence. That was the problem. Oh, there was an outward patch recently. Which is really cool. But yeah, there's a patch for the definitive edition. I think one of the things they do is they made bombs a little bit less rare. I just threw that. Let me see if I can use one of these at some point. South of Ziggurat. Don't stray from the path here. Almost did. That's what these little guide stones are for. If you look around and don't see one, reevaluate. I was looking at that Ziggurat and I was like, I don't remember that being this close. It was this supply chest. It tempted me. And here we are. Trudging through the swamp. It was a little bit of loot trog brain. If I were a troglodyte, I wouldn't be worried about that. The power coils would not be that valuable to me as a troglodyte, because troglodytes can't wear backpacks, and I want the power coils so I can get a backpack. A specific backpack. Don't aggro me. I don't mean you any harm. Oh, I've got more than 5. I've got like some in my pocket for whatever reason. Who keeps travel rations just hanging out in their pocket? Michael, do you reckon that's a safety issue, or did someone at the Bailey School bring some unauthorized items in the backpack? Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're here, Sella. That's great. We're having a real one. I'm out of stamina. Look at me. Okay, fast travel screen. Travel. Got plenty of travel rations. This is a little bit of a circuitous route, and I should probably unlock the shortcut between Berg and Monsoon. Oh, the kids eventually see a guy they think is a troglodyte wearing a backpack. It refutes the theory. Oh, it's going to be cold now, huh? Let's drink this weather defense potion. Oh, it is still too cold. Even after a weather defense potion. Oh, that's interesting. What can I do? There's a bandit assailing me. It's dark. I need to repair my lantern with oil. Yeah, see, I don't have this enough in my life, apparently. Just a cascading, like, amount of things that I need to do. And that's what Outward gives me. This, like, level 1 bandit is about to kill me because I'm out of stamina. Okay. Just watch the fact, like, this fight and having to regain my stamina is going to delay me lighting a torch long enough that I will acquire the cold condition, and then, like, 2 seconds after I am cold, I'm going to catch a cold. I just know it will happen. Okay, you're dead. Let's craft a torch. I may need fire. Gather wood. Craft. Makeshift torch. Then there's going to be a whole weight issue here. Because now, it's 12:54. Oh, I'm very slow. Okay. I need to buy gold bars because my currency is too heavy. Let's eat some food. Drop that wood. Okay, perfect. The torch, between the torch and the weather defense potion, my body temperature has stabilized. So that's great. Let's, as we walk towards Berg, which will be kind of that direction actually, we can slowly drop things that are weighing us down. Let's drop this fishing pole. Perfect. Let's draw. Getting so close. Just an overweighted pouch now, not an overweighted bag. We still haven't heard the official lore regarding what's in those vigil pylons. We're going to hear about it. Maybe this session. I really hope that we can just kind of wrap up this side quest and do the first quest. Because I've been saying, oh, we need to do the first quest for a couple sessions now. What's wild is Michael Jess, when he says, love a game where your body temperature must be stabilized and your currency can be too heavy. But you gotta remember, a key component of humor is, isn't there like a kernel of truth in there? Isn't that statement funny because at its heart it's true? Because I unironically believe it. I love a game where my body temperature must be stabilized and my currency can be too heavy. It teaches you a lot of lessons about life. A lot of those lessons are also lessons you can learn in real life. Probably like in elementary school. Yeah, wear a coat. Don't take your lunch money in nickels. Sometimes you take all your lunch money in nickels and you can't close your little pencil box. It's overstuffed with, various Rocco's Modern Life themed erasers. Probably too many erasers. Not enough actual writing implements in the pencil box. Oh, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, lessons, valuable life ones. I don't know if it was actually Rocco's Modern Life. I forget when that was actually. and on television. It's true. I would not want to repeat elementary school, certainly not at this age. I wouldn't even want to repeat it like with my current brain and consciousness like zapped into my age appropriate body for that experience for elementary school. I think it would be quite horrific in a lot of ways. You know what happens when you're in elementary school? You get told what to do. Like a lot. Oh, wow, it is somehow colder here. Oh, it's not colder. It's just that my weather defense potion has expired. Cures the cold, restores... Oh, I don't have the correct tea. I don't have the correct tea to defend against the elements right now. Hold on. Here we go. I can eat the bread of the wild. And that should give me, yeah, the warm boon. Perfect. Body temperature equalized. I think the swamp's actually like the mildest temperature region. It's just the trade-off is the poison. You know. Gotta take what you can. Bread of the Wild, people love it. It makes you stealthy also. Makes you stealthy and warm, the Bread of the Wild. So this is going to be awkward because the person I'm going to warn regarding this Sorobian plot is the former, or the chief of my former village, whom I abandoned. And I abandoned the village, and I've also abandoned the debt that I owed that village. I don't think it comes up in the dialogue, but I'm thinking about it. Me, Danny, thinks about it. And I think my character would also, it would probably be at least a passing thought to be like, oh, wow, this is a little awkward. I've turned my back on these people. They think I owe them thousands of silvers because of something my grandmother did. I'm a missionary now. Like all of these things whirling around in your head. I love this ghostly wisps, the ghostly wisps that are raising from the ground. It's just like a specific particle effect that happens here in Emricker Forest. Look at that big old beehive. You can go there. You see that beehive? You can crawl inside it. Yeah, I think I'll probably hold on to the Master Trader boots. No comment. I am 3D Homer regarding my unpayable debt while my pockets go, are bulging with with loose silver. Because I forgot to convert them into gold bars. Yeah, this weighs 4.1 pounds. What's the analog to something in my inventory? It weighs more than my boot. It weighs almost as much as my halberd. It's a little bit closer to the mining pick. Okay. My armor's very heavy. Weighs more than 6 bottles of antidote. Very close to 19 bandages. It's true, the village elder is willing to get rid of that debt so long as I pledge my allegiance to the Blue Chamber Collective. Power coil? No. Oh yeah, I should repair my lantern, which I can kind of do while running here. Haha! Oh no, did I repair the wrong one? There we go. Weird. Hello.
What can I do for you?
Oh, maybe this caravaner sells a power coil.
This worries me.
It's random inventory. So yeah, the caravaner will sell like pistols and whatnot. Ooh, a luxury tent. That's nice. Let's buy 4 gold ingots. Okay, let's tell, I believe her name's Risa. Anything I need to sell here?
Hey there.
Definitely can part with 1 set of boots. I think I need to save the spiritual varnish. You kind of can't kill ghosts without it. It's kind of a problem.
Hey there.
I've got a request to Glamp. I think it makes... I am going to get it. I think that it gives you very good quality rest, but your chances of being ambushed are increased due to its color scheme. So yeah, let's purchase that, and I am due for a new tent. Do that, and I think we can sell the old tent. And there we go. I want to remind myself what this looks like. Oh, yeah. Now this is camping. Look at the ornate stakes. That's luxury. Just like real life glamping. It is true. I think if somebody is, you know, out trying to, I don't want to say murder, but out trying to murder you, like at a summer camp, one would think they might go for the glamper first. Hard to know. Sorry, I've been watching scary movies. It's October. That's what you do, right?
I'm glad to see you.
Sorobor was funding a bandit gang to kidnap and murder missionaries from the Holy Mission.
What?
Whoa. Wow.
Here's what I need you to do.
Give me the proof, and the Blue Chamber will owe you a tribal favor for this, as well as a 25 silver bounty for your hard work. Sure.
Well done.
These quests go for it. So yeah, Blue Chamber Collective, still responsible for crime and punishment, it seems. It might be that the Holy Mission of Alad is in like a Vatican situation where the Candle Pauldron guards only have jurisdiction in Monsoon, but like it might be that the stuff that's happening in the swamp is under the Blue Chamber Collective here, which very interesting stuff. Not something I would have guessed necessarily. Okay. What do we got here? Well, let's head back to Monsoon, and we'll kind of go a different way, I suppose. Why not? Let's see. I think there's another exit here near Roland, etc. I very rarely remember that you can leave this city from this side, but you can. What are our plans for that tribal favor? I'm going to hold on to it. I know that there are a lot of opportunities in the Blue Chamber Collective quest line to use it. But I forget like what kind of stuff I can do with it. I think that there's actually some ways to use it in the DLC as well. But it's been a while since I looked at the wiki on that. There are definitely some quests, though, if I recall, where you can like just turn in a favor instead of doing some onerous part. And that's certainly an option available to you at the very beginning. If you get the favor from Michael Auberdine for giving him a bandage, you can hold on to the favor instead of turning it in and turn in money instead. I can learn how to make stringy salad. That's something I wasn't capable of before. But now, I know it. I think let's look at my status here. So I have -14 on the temperature equilibrium gauge. I think I'm going to be able to make it to the swamp before I get cold and catch a cold. I'll run a bit because I plan on camping as soon as I get to the swamp here. What was that? Is that just yeah, little mechanical golem thing? Ooh, this is a great opportunity to pitch the tent. Right here in the butterflies. Yeah. The only negative aspect of the luxury tent is neutralized. That's efficiency. Oh, great. Counter turns. That is a good thing to know. Well, I'm going to keep it in my inventory. It's 0.1 weight. Seems like a very small price to pay. I am refreshed. I'm also thirsty. Hold on, I'll endure the thirst and let me just get to the darn hallowed marsh here. Oh, I've only got 2 of 3 necessary. Okay, quick. What am I doing? I need to collect wood, build a campfire, put a cooking pot on the campfire, and make some travel rations by recycling some food that is probably going to rot soon anyway. Okay. I thought I collected wood there. Campfire kit. Lighting campfire. Deploying cooking pot. Okay, travel rations. Using the almost expired jerky. Perfect. Let's go ahead and make several of those. Keep our bread of the wild because it has great medicinal properties. And leave no trace, right? We're responsible campers. And there we have it. I know that a lot is made about the fiddliness of some of the survival elements of the game, but there is a point, and I think we're past that point, where yes, it is something you have to do, but that didn't feel particularly onerous to me. Just something to kind of remember occasionally and be like, oh, I need to make some travel rations. Keeps your inventory from getting too stale. You're constantly kind of recycling stuff. Okay, time to re-equip our halberd. There's going to be some real... oh yeah, these jade cat-like beings with swords floating around them. Let's watch this battle, because this is wild. Look at that enemy design. He's whipping their ass, too. This is rad as hell. You're exactly right, counter turns. Like, how do you... You can't compete. It's sweet. It's really good. No desire to fight that. So I can't cross that bridge because the gates are closed, but if I go in here, I can activate the ziggurat passage. And once we do this, it'll be much easier to travel around. Cool steampunky vibes. This dungeon looks like someone has a custom loop. They're liquid cooling it. Where's all the heat coming from? Where's the CPU? Get out of here, skeleton. I would love for the skeleton to disintegrate into all the individual bones. That would be great, but I'm not going to complain. I think that's just a... Let's eat this fruit out of the skeleton's pocket. The ZPU. My apologies. Thank you for the correction. The ziggurat processing unit. Oh, there was nothing back here, buddy. Oh, but there is marshmallow tartine in this man's pocket. I'm eating that right out of his pocket. Yum. Perfectly fine with some healing potions weighing me down. That's not the worst problem to have. Who doesn't want marshmallow tartine? A wondrous snack. Classic 2-lever dungeon. We've activated one lever. We need to activate the one over here. I think they're one of those Jade Guardians. That might be their name. Is prowling around up here, so we'll need to be careful. Yep. There it is. So let's go ahead and prep. Runic armor. Back to halberd. Get angry. Get focused. Okay. Oh, wow, he's tough. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. Oh no, I'm not fighting that guy. I'm not tough enough. That's wild. Might just be short on a weapon enchant here. It might be that I just needed a weapon enchantment. And that's okay. Lord. Yeah, Codell. Absolutely like top-notch monster design. Yeah, happy to have you here, by the way. The Jade Lich's idol. Bang. Now, that was actually the ZPU. That was the Ziggurat processing unit. That's a cool little design, too. Look at that. What's he holding? Little ball? How much do you reckon one of those would run on an... How much do you think you could charge for that? Same scale on, like, Etsy. What material? I don't know. A material that looks exactly like that. So I'll leave it up to you. I wonder how to... I don't know how to achieve the effect most economically. James going with the 2K. I imagine that is like Jade, like the actual Jade. This is an interesting enemy that I'm not going to see a lot more of during this playthrough, but he's pretty cool. He's got a big cannon thing. He's whipping my ass. Run. There we go. I got slowed. This is a brutal shortcut. Oh, no! One hit. One hit from the raptor. Am I back in the Ziggurat passage? I think I know where I am. I think it respawns you near the skeleton. That was brutal. Oh, Gep got me. Another person is lying on their side near the fire, clearly in distress. You drag yourself to your feet to see what happened to them. Oh, wow. What happened? Talk to question marks. Marsh's poison. Oh, wait. I think if I give this person an antidote, perhaps. Yeah, use an antidote. It's not from the campfire. What is this? Bless. I think a lot blessed me for helping this person in distress. That's great. I don't think I've gotten that defeat condition because I haven't had many opportunities to have a defeat scenario as a missionary of a lot. So I think that's really interesting. Very cool. Oh yeah, we're right here. Can I... Let's do this. Oh my gosh, those boots are so heavy. These boots weigh 14. That's 3 times more than my money when I've got it all changed out. Might not be feasible to like carry around the speedy boots. Not because of the weight of the speedy boots, but rather the weight of my regular boots when I put the speedy boots on. Oh wow, the raptor is having a fight with Slime Gun Man. 2 raptors. Wonder how effective it could. They're actually... He's giving them a run for his money. Oh, yeah, he's whipping their ass. Yeah! Oh, his club's big. He pulls out the handle for the club out of his gun. Oil. That guy really rules. It's great. I'm glad I was this far away. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to get in a fight with that guy because that guy's my hero now. I hope he wins. I think he's got it, right? Because he's been 2v1ing these things. Yeah. Good fight. That's great. This person almost made it out. Marshmallow and jelly? Hold on. Hold on. Marshmallow and jelly? I bet so I had some marshmallow and tartine earlier. And I bet if I apply that marshmallow and jelly to some bread, I'll be able to discover the recipe for marshmallow and tartine. But yeah, enemy designs in this game, truly good. Just excellent. Oh, wow, this person. Well, I know better than to fight you without at least some, like a buff on my weapon. Are you going to chase me the rest of the way, Mr. Jade? Yep, you are. Well, this will be interesting. Maybe you'll fight these bandits. Or maybe maybe everyone will just chase me to the ends of the earth. That's also a distinct possibility. Need to manage my stamina here. Unfortunately, I didn't take a swig of water. Yerrick, that is a coincidence that you're having some marshmallow and tartine tonight. That sounds delicious. I hope you enjoy that. Oh, I am 3D Homer. You're exactly right. I could have used, when I had the Blessed status effect, which it has faded away, it didn't last very long, I could have used my ability, Infuse Light, to transfer my Blessed Boon into my Horror Halberd and give my Horror Halberd lightning damage. It's true, counter turns. This game does need hotkeys that you wail on as you're running to the zone, being chased by a variety of critters. Gnolls, orcs, jade sentinels, bandits. Is there like a chat feature in this game? There is. So it'd be like, it didn't work. The macros don't work the way I expected them to. But %T back in EverQuest would it would name your target. And they had like contextual macros. So like %R was like the race or species of your target. So I know some people had pretty elaborate macros that were like, we've got one grumpy %R on the way here. And maybe I forget whether or not that applied to like both NPCs and PCs. Hard to remember. But yeah, there were a variety of funny train macros people set up. Some of them were distractingly long. You definitely wanted to be able to see the text, but you should probably just get to the point. You should probably say train to zone. Then it was an issue that you could have a macro that said train to zone, but in zones like Blackburrow, which had like several entrances, people were like, well, which zone? Danny wouldn't appreciate Final Fantasy boost macros? What's boost macro? What's a boost macro? I did make a Final Fantasy 14 character, and I don't know if I had a boost meter yet. I don't know if that got unlocked. What's our time here? We got half an hour. I think we can finish up this quest. Oh, Final Fantasy 11. There we go. Sorry.
You, wait a moment.
Oh, good. The Cardinal wants to talk to me. Love it. Is Final Fantasy 11 still live? Does it have a player base still? I know a lot of these games are live. Oh, still being developed for. That's great. I guess the same thing happened with EverQuest. Like, EverQuest is still live. EverQuest 2, also still alive. I think EverQuest Online Adventures for the PlayStation was shuttered, however.
My thanks.
They had some great, distinct visual design in the PlayStation EverQuest. That was pretty neat. We need to talk about the trouble in that swamp.
Thanks.
Thanks for dealing with those people. A lot speaks to me.
Well done.
Oh, wow. Great. I've been blessed. Hashtag blessed. Okay. Now, Elmira, can I do the stuff? Like, I've been quite around the world here. Surely I can do the first quest. I'm sure I got a notification saying this is possible. It is time for my first mission. Excellent. Look at this very holy individual. Witch hat. Sentient halberd. Blue sand armor. It's all here.
Oh, before you go, however.
Have you ever seen one of the vigils before? Those are the giant crystal tower things, right? The ones that protect us from the scourge?
Listen well.
There's one not far from Monsoon. I want you to go there and burn a greasy fern at the altar atop the hill beside it. Breathe it in and tell me what you see. Only then will I be ready for my first mission. Okay.
Walk in peace.
If you don't have a greasy fern with you, the alchemist should have some. This is, there's some collusion here. That alchemist is in on it. I guarantee you Elenara is getting a cut from the greasy fern sales. Because who just has a greasy fern in their backpack? I don't. So, I'm telling you. I wonder how expensive this thing is. I wonder what Elenara's cut is.
Is there something you need?
Rare ingredients. 30 silver. 30 silver. This is more than a night at the nicest inn in Monsoon. Unbelievable. What does the description for rare plants that grow on mountains and are used in alchemy? Oh, I don't see Oliel here. So I do think that we might end up meeting Oliel on our little trip. I also know, this is as far as I got in my other playthrough before I decided, oh, you know, I should stream this, and I should stream this particular quest line. I also know that there are just monsters wandering around that hill, so it is very possible to have your dialogue like interrupted by a raptor slicing into you. So we will definitely be cautious and kind of clear the area before we start what we're going to start here. Yep, there's the Vigil Pylon. Kind of haven't been paying attention to that one, actually. Save our oil. Oh yeah, I died here earlier, or rather, I died. Look at this! You could have told me the greasy ferns grow 20 feet away from where you need to go. Oh, they got me. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll gather them and I'll at least sell them back. Oh my lord. Unbelievable. I can't even get too angry. Like, I've been owned, but they absolutely played me. Okay, just making sure there's not a raptor, like, hiding on the side of this mountain. I would rather this quest dialogue not be interrupted. Okay, here's Eliel.
Good to see you.
Oh, hi. I guess it's only natural they'd send you here too. What are you doing here?
I just wanted to come back here before leaving for my first mission.
Oh, Eleanor told you to burn the greasy fern here too, didn't she? Well, tell me what you see. Okay. This is exciting. So, cool little altar here. Very much like, looks similar to a lot of the stuff we were seeing in like the Blue Chamber collective stuff. Let's talk to the altar. Sorrow and pain and a sense of duty linger around this altar, and not that type of duty. Just sorrow and pain. Let's burn a greasy fern. As you breathe in the aroma of the greasy fern, the memories of the buried ancestors floods your mind with vicious images. You see an army of warriors fighting a massive scourge beast with spears. They're nearly wiped out before one of them manages to cripple the beast. A ray of light falls from the sky and engulfs the monster, and it is trapped within a shining crystal, surrounded by the dozens of people it killed. As the memories fade and you return to your senses, you look up at the vigil crystal and briefly see a swarm of ghosts trapped within the crystal, with the scourge beast endlessly stabbing it with their ghostly weapons. You sense agony rippling from the crystal. The scourge beast within is still alive, endlessly tortured by the spirits of those it killed. The monster's pain, a warning to keep other scourge beasts far, far away from Monsoon.
Did you see it? Those poor spirits. They'll never rest in peace.
They'll never rest in peace, these poor spirits. No wonder the Scourge don't go anywhere near the vigils.
I knew Elat wasn't the final answer to our existence, but seeing this... What is Elat?
So I think that was interesting. There's a little bit of a discrepancy between the verbal dialogue and what's written here. But the meaning is still like, Allot's only the god of discipline, not the final answer of our existence. You know, not the creator deity of Arai, the world we live in. But whoa, how can Allot allow this? What did I choose to become a part of? Huge crisis of faith for Oliel. Are you having doubts about joining?
After seeing this?
Those spirits are trapped in that crystal forever. Their only purpose for all eternity is to torture the Scourge beasts. So it's interesting. Am I going to like agree with Oliel, or am I going to be the good little missionary? I think I'm gonna provide some dramatic contrast here. I'm going to be kind of a little bit of a myrmidon here. Well, it's an effective scourge repellent, that's for sure.
How can you so easily justify this?
Those people's spirits are in torment, Danny. What if it was your parents trapped in that crystal? Oliel, without the vigils, the scourge beasts could attack our homes, our families. They're ravenous, evil monsters. Would you take that chance? Or, we can't doubt Allot. If he did this, it's because it had to be done. So that's interesting. The first option, we've got the practical effects of the strategy. Defending the strategy versus defending the deity. So we're going to defend the deity. We're going to be like, we converted, Allot spoke to us, and we unquestioningly follow out Allot's orders. I'm interested to see what this tactic leads to.
He was human once. He may still be capable of human error.
Is this really the best solution, or is it just a desperate plan no one else has bothered to question? Either way, the fact remains we need to destroy the Scourge once and for all. These poor spirits deserve to finally rest in peace. So we're not worried about the Eternal Scourge torture. It's the fact that the spirits were kind of drafted into this mechanism, into the pylon here.
Farewell, my friend.
That's a little bit of a discordant bark. I'm off. Elnar gave me a task to perform, and I intend to see that it's carried out. I'll be seeing you, Danny. And she's gone. So now I can head back to Elenara and say, hey, I burnt the greasy fern. But is that not wild? Like the lore bit we just got? I think that's absolutely great. Absolutely wild. That Scourge in there is alive, and there are ghostly warriors that it slew that are eternally trapped in the crystal, poking it. That's wild stuff. You thought the wildness was over when Cameron finished the Final Fantasy VIII playthrough. But the wildness continues. And I think we'll probably wrap it up after we get our next quest prompt here. But we do want to kind of get an idea of what we're doing a week from today. Agree, counter turns. I think that the immediate positioning of Oliel as this person that was so incredibly gung-ho about the joining the Holy Mission. She thought that she was kind of, turning away from human judgment and error and all of the problems associated with the Blue Collective and into something pure. And then lo and behold, she finds out, wow, Allot has some Machiavellian shit going on.
What do you need?
I burnt the greasy fern.
And what did you see?
Spirits trapped with a scourge beast in the crystal, stabbing it endlessly. Yep.
And
What did I learn? Sometimes victory comes with great sacrifice.
Well, now.
Yeah. Now you know why Alat doesn't celebrate his victory against the Scourge. It came at a grave cost.
The vigils are a necessary evil.
Necessary evil. Those spirits keep us safe. They're a grim reminder of the evil we face and our sworn mission.
I can only hope.
We can't depend on the vigils forever. Yeah, it's true. I'm sure that might be stainless steel or something, but on a long enough timeline, those vigils are coming down. Gotta find a way to free Arai from them permanently. I understand, whatever it takes.
Much the same. On that note, I have work for you.
I sent Oliel on a mission before you left for the vigil, and I would feel better if you joined her. Something about it sends chills up my spine. I wonder if Elenara is sending me to help Oliel solely because something about the mission sends chills up her spine, or if I wonder if like Oliel's reaction to the vigil origin story and kind of the vigil, the torture that's happening in there, and kind of a little bit of crack in her facade, or kind of questioning of her faith. I wonder if Eleanor is picking up on that, and that's why she wants me to go accompany Oliel.
Are you familiar with the Montcalm tribe in the Chersonese?
Those lunatics who string up the corpses of their enemies all around their village? Yeah, I've heard about them. They've been hostile to Sierzo for years.
They've been turning to the undead from the valley beyond the Ghost Pass for protection.
Wow, that's some real Lord of the Rings stuff. While this itself is worrisome, things have taken a turn for the worse.
Arai needs you.
Oh, Alat can sense a huge growth of corruption erupting underground. Whatever's down there has become dangerously tainted. It must be cleansed before it becomes a serious threat to the Chersonese.
Here's what you need to know.
Go beyond the Ghost Pass, delve deep underground in the valley beyond it, and find the source of the corruption. Cleanse it by any means necessary.